Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I want to go into this quick lesson. It was from a couple conversations I had earlier today. Conversations I just had, and you know, the world is literally about to shift into judgment mode. You know, everything is shifting into judgment mode, like execution of judgment, persecution. That's the time we living in, you know, where things are just finna go bad for the mass majority. Well, really everybody on earth except for the elect. You know, things are finna be terrible, you know, on an unimaginable scale for everything on the earth. You know, in a conversation I was having earlier, you know, it was with a woman just kind of trying to explain, or not even really explain, but just kind of telling, not explaining, telling that, look, this is how things are supposed to be. This is how things are to be set up. Not really going into prophecy, you know, and not really going into the scriptures, but telling her how things are supposed to be. But, you know, and of course it was Eve, so-called black woman, young one at that too. They don't get it, you know, they don't get it. And of course we know that the mass majority of our people ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it, especially when prophecy start rolling around. That's when they gonna start trembling. That's when the whole spirit and everything is gonna shift, you know. And you know, a lot of times all you can do is just let them think what they want to think. You know, it wasn't no me trying to convince or try to coerce or trying to teach or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you know, us in this truth, we already know these people ain't gonna understand. They ain't gonna get it. They need to see judgment happen just for them to start taking things seriously, taking the world seriously. But even just trying to tell them, like, look, the way things are in the West is completely wrong. The way society is set up in America is completely wrong. Everything you've been taught is completely wrong. They don't even believe that. So, hey, look, prophecy is going to teach them better than anything else you can ever say. But this is Isaiah 32, starting at verse 9. In the AMP, it says, "Rise up, you women who are carefree or at ease. Hear my voice, you confident and unsuspecting daughters. Listen to what I am saying." See, this is the thing. They don't want to listen to the men of the Lord. They don't want to listen to the prophets. They don't want to listen to the men trying to teach them proper doctrine, trying to teach them what the Lord is planning on doing and how they supposed to behave themselves and how they supposed to think prior to the coming judgment. So since they don't want to listen to sound doctrine, to actual prophecy, the Lord said he gon' make them listen. You know, it says, "Hear my voice, you confident and unsuspecting daughters." So they are fully confident in themselves that things is gonna be okay. They're confident that things is gonna be okay for them. They think that they are going to be okay, not realizing that the very people or the very ones that you're going to need are the very ones you refuse to listen to. You know. So it's unsuspecting as well, because they don't expect for themselves to be caught up in judgment. You know, these women and men too, you know, Jake, but especially these women, they don't expect themselves to get caught up in no type of judgment. They don't even think about judgment. You know, it's a whole even, you know, little TikTok. I don't even want to call it a challenge, but a little TikTok trend where the man will sit on the bed or sit on something, the woman will stand up. No, it'll start with the man. He'll stand up in front of the woman and you know, touch her head, and it'll be like he's saying into her thoughts, and all her thoughts will be sunshine and flowers, vacation, a good looking meal, you know, a new car, whatever the case may be. It just show her good things. But for the man, it just show hardships, struggles, bills, him stressed. You know, she'll stand up and touch his head, and that's what she see, and she be all baffled that men are going through that. But now The world is finna transition to the point to where everybody's finna be in that situation, and nobody's gonna have any type of security. So it's unsuspecting to women because they think that when times get rough, they are the main prize to be protected. But you are the main ones seeking protection because you are the prey. Now it says, verse 10, in little more than a year, you will tremble with anxiety, you unsuspecting and complacent women, for the vintage has ended and the harvest will not come. So it says you will tremble with anxiety. And that's literally going to be, for a lot of women, they're literally going to be trembling. They're going to be so, their anxiety going to be through the roof. They're going to be so afraid of what's going to happen to them or what can possibly happen to them, because you just think about it. Fear is something that, it's which I get it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see real quick. It says fear is a primary negative, balanced emotion triggered by the perception of danger, threat, or pain. See, it's the perception, meaning what could possibly, the possibilities. It initiates the body's survival mechanism, the fight or flight or freeze response. The experience encompasses psychological awareness, physical sensations like an increased heart rate, and behavior changes aimed at self-preservation. So it said you women are going to be trembling with anxiety, or fear, And it said at the perception of danger. But the only difference is danger will literally be all around you. The times we coming into is literally going to be dangerous. Now let's see, is fear and anxiety. Let's see, it says, no, they are not the same. Fear is the immediate reaction to real, present, and known dangers. Now guess what? That real, present, and known danger is going to be what people are going to be in during the times that's coming. And then it says anxiety is a lingering generalized response to a hypothetical or uncertain threat in the future. So people are going to be, see, look, it says, for example, fear triggers when you see a snake. Now, people are going to be in situations where women going to be, they're going to hear, see, and experience all types of evil in the times that's to come. It says, while anxiety is the prolonged worry that you might encounter one on your hike tomorrow. So they're going to see it happen or hear someone else go through it or hear about it and then be scared for their own lives. The scriptures do not lie. It says, you will tremble with anxiety, you unsuspecting and complacent women, for the vintage has ended and the harvest will not come. So everything, all the security, safety, and benefits that you was receiving, it's gonna fail. It's not gonna happen anymore. It's gonna be cut off, And you was using this system to keep you safe and protected and take care of you. Well, this system is going to turn on you completely, 100%, and it will no longer take care of you. It will no longer provide you with security, for food, for stability, for comfort. It's not gonna provide that no more. And the very one that was created for you to be under, the man, which, the man was created first. But what I'm saying is you were created to serve the man and to be under the man. Now that's going to be the very one you need. And for a lot of women, they're not going to make the cut because they don't know how to treat a man. They don't know. A lot of women claim they want to be married, but they don't want to be wives. And because they don't want to be wives, they totally disregard the status, duty, and respect that a wife's supposed to show or do for her husband. And you doing it now. So the very man that you're going to need in the time, they're not going to forget it. They're going to remember it, So when the vintage fail and the harvest won't come, when you don't have no more security, stability, and means of survival, and you turn to and see the men of the Lord, you're gonna be out of luck. It says, tremble you women who are carefree. See, a lot of women are carefree. They don't think anything's gonna happen to them. They don't think that the way that they think or the way that they behave as a problem. But the same way that you act, the same way that you think and carry yourself, it's gonna be a lot of women's biggest downfall. You know, with the way they dress, the way they act, again, the way they think, that's gonna be their biggest downfall. You know, because even the men of this world is not gonna forget it, and they're gonna be the main ones targeting you. Strip, undress, and wear sackcloth on your waist in grief. Beat your breasts in mourning for the beautiful fields, for the fruitful vine, for the land of my people growing over with thorns and briars. Yes, mourn for all the houses of joy in the joyous city. For the palace has been abandoned, the populated city deserted. So, just going over it, and it going on and on, the Lord is basically telling what the judgment is going to be for all his people. You know? I'm trying to think, do I want to get... I might as well. Okay, I read this in the Message version, and then I'll close it out. This is Micah 7. I guess I start at 8, but it's 8 through 10. It says, "Don't, enemy, crow over me. I'm down, but I'm not out. I'm sitting in the dark right now, but the Most High is my light." And this is just going into the mindset of the Israelite man, of the elect. You know, we understand we down, but not out. You know, and when we at the, as we down right now, Esau Edom, he furthered, to put us down. And one of the main people who helped him keep us down was our own women. Our own women helped the so-called white man keep us down. Make sure we got beat down even more. But now the same men that you was beating down and saying all these things, or even if you didn't say stuff against the man, you didn't want to listen to him, you didn't want to respect him. You wanted to do your own thing, be your own boss, be your own leader, whatever the case may be, want him to follow you, whatever the situation may be. Now that's gonna in the future, in the times to come, just a little while from now, that's gonna come back and haunt you. That's gonna come back and be your deepest regret. It said, "I can take the Most High's punishing rage. I deserve it. I see it. But it's not forever. He's on my side and he's going to get me out of this. He'll turn on the lights and show me his way. I'll see the whole picture and how right he is." It says, "And my enemy will see it too and be discredited, yes, disgraced." And that's going to be a lot of women too. They're going to be discredited and disgraced for how they looked, viewed, and treated the men of the Lord, or disregarded the men of the Lord. It says, "This enemy who kept taunting, so where is this God of yours? I'm going to see it with these my own eyes. My enemy disgrace, trash in the gutter." And again, that's going to be a lot of women. Like it said, we going to see it. A lot of women that we both know, that we know and that we don't know, being judged. Or, like you said, you're going to see it with our eyes. We're going to see these people, these women judged. And I'm going to read that verse 10 in the KJV. And I'm closing it out. It says, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, Where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets." So it's not saying, or it's not only saying that they're going to say this out of their mouth, but in their behavior, in the way that they think. Where is the Lord thy God? Because again, these women, they don't, even if they don't know that you go out and teach or preach or whatever the case may be, these people pick up that you have a different mindset, you have a different way of thinking. And they don't think that the way you try to tell them, or they don't listen to sound reasoning. Regardless if they know what you do or not, they don't listen to sound reasoning. And for the women, like I said, like the scriptures say, it said, "Where is the Lord thy God?" That's what they say. That's how they act. That's how they think that everything is gonna be okay until judgment finally comes. So I just wanted to go into that real quick. Like I said, which is something that conversation I was having earlier. Lord will was edifying. On that note, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing his word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping his word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.